Right.
Violence is almost gone against women.
Yes.
That's a statistic. The threat of
Absolutely.
violence is almost gone against
absolutely,
women.
yes. Men are far more likely to be victims of violence than women are.
Oh, that's
Crazy. That's insane.
Like
crazy for you to say.
60% more.
Crime is
in the United States or in Florida or
In the United States. In general, men are overwhelmingly the victims of violent crime
Is
over
that
women.
like a fact check we can pull up?
Yeah, 100%.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
we can look it
Let's
up.
fact check it.
Yeah, but that's I mean, the thing is that violence is typically perpetrated by men on men.
That is a fact.
You know, so that's the reality. Now, with that said, I'm not saying women aren't victims of violence, but it's not as common as people think it is. And then if we want to look at like domestic violence stats, typically when violence is only going one way, it's the woman actually assaulting the guy, not the other way around, like people think it is. But a lot of the times when there is domestic violence situations, it's both of them beating each other.
Sure.
But when it's one way, it's interesting. It's almost always the female to the guy beating on him.
And what about psychological abuse and manipulation, emotional abuse?
Well, here's the thing. The only person that can control their emotions is you.
Right.
So, you know, this whole, this whole concept of, oh, I'm being emotionally abused or whatever, be an adult. Like, you know, if the guy's bad or he's pissing you off or whatever,
Leave.
you can control your emotions.
You can leave.
Right?
Both parties can leave.
But women don't like to take accountability for that, I've realized.
So the men can leave too when they're being abused. They can walk out. They can leave.
For sure,
They don't
yeah.
need to be abused. They don't need to stand for it. They can hold women in devotion. They can hold themselves in devotion. And there can be a better path towards being able to have more care for one another.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to establish here is that violence typically is perpetrated on men far more than women. And then another thing too that's interesting is if you want to talk about the highest rates of domestic violence, it's actually lesbian couples.
In comparison to what?
In comparison to all other couples, heterosexual and homosexual.
And how many data points do you have to confirm that across the board?
They have by far, when you compare all the different couples, lesbian relationships have the most domestic violence instances where the cops are showing up, etc. And it kind of makes sense because women don't have a proper concept of violence a lot of the times.
I agree to disagree. That's okay.
I mean, if you're gonna you're gonna disagree with a fact. I mean,
it's a fact according to what you're telling me right now, according to the data that you have at this current moment in time. But that's
Bills, can you
actually
bring it up?
not the full data. So it's okay. I hear
what
you.
data do you have to refute my data then?
Exactly.
You don't have any. So
But you don't
therefore,
have the actual data to tell me that
I
that's
do.
actually what it is.
I wrote a book on
Let's
this.
do it.
Like,
What's the name of the book?
It's actually called Why Women Deserve Less.
What?
Let's hear
yeah.
it. Yes.
Yeah, it's literally called Why Women Deserve Less. Like,
Wow.
yeah, I've literally written books on the disparities between the genders and many different things.
Myron.
Like, I'm not just out here talking out of my ass,
I
right?
gotta read it.
And this is why podcasts like this are so important because, and this is because it's interesting that you say that, right? Because women always do that. Oh, I agree to disagree. Like, what you're trying to do is disqualify the information I'm giving as if it's not true.
Definitely not.
But it is.
No, I'm just asking for information.
Yes, I mean, you're far more likely to be a victim of violent crime as a man. That's a fact. Than a woman. Way more. Domestic violence, lesbian couples have by far the highest instances of domestic violence. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what... I mean, you might not like it, but it's the truth. You know?
I just don't know that there's enough information on the LGBTQ community in order to give these facts in comparison to a patriarchal society. And I hear you. I hear that you did the research. I hear that you wrote the book. I'm not disqualifying you.
Well, what other society... Every society that thrives is a patriarchy.
I understand.
Nothing
that
works under a matriarchy.
Oh, absolutely. The bonobos monkeys do.
Yeah,
it's
but
a
they're monkeys.
matriarchal... But we're monkeys.
Come on, bro.
Come on. Come on. We're
Yo.
animals.
I mean, probably fresh. Calling us
You
monkeys?
We're animals. We're primal.
Every
I'm offended.
Every human
offended.
society
I am not a monkey.
that has thrived
Look at the bonobos.
Has
They're
been
not horny like y'all.
a
All right.
patriarchy.
So I'm just trying to say, like, look at it.
See, that's just
That's racist.
Yes.
yeah.
You caught me. Yeah, red-handed.
You know, this is interesting because it's very obvious you have these liberal left-wing talking points that just aren't rooted in reality. This is kind of the problem.
Totally not a liberal.
You absolutely are.
How do you know that?
100%.
You don't know me.
I can already tell from the way that you speak,
I'm
the
actually
way
a centrist.
the way you are
I
absolutely
don't believe in
left-wing.
making America great again by Donald Trump.
Exactly. You're a leftist.
I do not believe in Make America Great Again by Donald Trump. I will say that.
Did you
I
vote
do
in the
not
last
support
election?
him. Yes, and I did not vote for him, and I don't
voted
have to
for
tell
Kamala.
you who I. No, I don't have to tell you who I voted for.
Kamala?
Regardless, I'm not really interested, and it's also okay. That's why we live in a country where we get to be here at this table with you, listening to you, being with you, listening
Here's the
to
thing.
each other.
This is what I've noticed. Like, I'm not afraid to admit that I am far right. I'm not afraid to admit
Amazing.
that.
Awesome.
But you are afraid to admit that you're a
No,
leftist,
I'm
even
not.
though you're
I'm a
adhering.
centrist. I truly am.
I have one question though. Did you vote for Kamala?
No, I didn't.
Okay, hold on. How many genders are there?
Multiple.
Okay, you are not a centrist whatsoever. You are a leftist.
I'm sorry, but
You are a
there's two
leftist.
genders.
That's called
there's
science.
two
There are not
genders.
two genders. There's something called intersex. Read biological books. Read science. There's something called intersex. It
Hermaphrodite.
happens
I'm sorry,
naturally.
but if my
It's
son-
called intersex.
I'm
It
sorry,
is
but if my
real.
son comes to me and be like, "Mommy, I want to be a girl," I will smack my son. I'm sorry, but my son will not be a transgender. He will not try to
probably
be a woman.
traumatize your son.
No,
Okay,
no.
ladies,
I'm
ladies,
sorry,
hey,
but
hey,
I'm not
hey,
gonna.
hey,
I'm not
guys,
gonna have my
hold
son be a
up.
woman. I'm sorry.
Hey,
No.
look, and this is what I mean when I say, how is it that I already knew where your ideology
Yep.
just off of you just making a couple of points? Here's the thing.
I'm educated. That's how you knew. So maybe you're trying to ask
I
me
went
more
to prestigious
questions.
university, and
Yes.
I am not a leftist. And I
This
went
is
to,
exactly
so,
Exactly.
why-
I went
That's-
to
so-
many prestigious experiences, and I am not saying that you're
What
not
I'm-
who you are.
Yeah, no, but what
I
I'm
don't have
saying
to
is
put
that
you down
being
to lift
educated
you
does
up.
not necessarily mean that you have to be a leftist liberal. And what I'm saying is that
Right.
you're saying you can't even acknowledge that there's two genders.
I do believe there's two genders and more genders than just two. So I can acknowledge that there's more than two genders. That
I'm
means
sorry,
that there's
but-
Hey,
male,
hey,
No.
there's
look,
male, female, intersex. There's
Okay.
many genders and biological sexes and sexual orientations. We live in a
so
diverse
this is
landscape.
okay. Look. See, this is what I mean. Like, this is the difference between people on the right and people on the left.
Tell me.
You guys live in a Looney Tune world where
Really?
yes, there's two genders because the reality is this: if you die and archaeologists come back and excavate your body 300 years, they will know from your bones and the structure if you're a male or a female.
Right, but chromosomes have something to do with it. Hormones have something to do with
But they're
it.
not
First
gonna
sex
look into that
characteristics,
first.
sex characteristics have something to do with it. And so there is intersex. There are folks who have a vaginal canal and they also have testicles, or they have enlarged clitorises.
Those are
and-
hermaphrodites.
Exactly. It's
Hold on.
called
You know,
intersex.
we're gonna go to Rumble here, because we want to get into this shit.
This
seriously.
is why my son's
Let's go
generation
to Rumble,
is
guys.
fucked.
Go on to Rumble, guys.
Literally.
Again, course is out on Castle Club Premium only. Become a member of that. You get it for free. And for today, you get as well first date blueprint. We can find out how to get laid on the first date.
Yeah,
Tap
come on
into
over,
that.
guys.
Link down below.
Black Friday sale. We'll continue this conversation over on Rumble. Come on over to Rumble because obviously YouTube is a liberal platform where if I say some of these things, they're gonna say it's hate speech. So let me know when we're clear. Come on over, guys. Rumble.com/Freshandfit. We'll drop a
Come on
link
over.
in there for them.
All right.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because, see, growing up, I heard there's only two genders.
Yeah.
But then again, the new age thinking is there's multiple.
To be honest, growing up, like, you know, here in
Not that
Miami,
new.
like, to be honest, like when I was first
Come on over,
growing
guys.
up, like they weren't ever saying like there was more than two genders. I remember going to school, like in elementary and middle school, like there was only one and two genders, like male or female. Now I hit high school, boom, after high school, there's 5 genders. You can be whatever you want to be, and it's like
Hella flag.
different. I honestly don't get it, and I'm honestly really scared for my son because, you know, what if I'm not here one day and then he's like, you know, lost in this world and he doesn't know what he wants to be. It's like,
Retired at
who are you
37
protecting?
Give me one
vet.
sec.
Who are you
Tips
protecting?
$35. Ladies, at a gender reveal party, how many genders are there?
This is for you. At a reveal party, how many genders are there?
There are many genders.
No.
There's
It's
no
just-
one number
Stop the show.
to genders.
At gender party, for revealing the gender, how many genders do they actually
So
celebrate?
first of all, gender
Question.
reveal parties do not have to have a gender that is called male or
What are
female.
you saying?
So there are
Question.
people
I'm
who
getting a
choose
headache.
to give birth and not know what the biological sex of their child is before we had that information.
That's a personal choice, not a gender reveal party.
Exactly. So I don't need to give a male or female, pink or blue reveal in order to prove that my child is worthy, that my child gets a right to have love, to not be harassed, to not be killed, to not be looked at in a way that
But
is
that's their choice later in
disrespectful
life.
and unkind,
Question.
and to not be held by their mothers and fathers or their parents because they're different.
Question.
No, but
Is that
have the
clear?
baby showers for
okay,
gifts.
so you think that there's more than one, more than two genders, which obviously I disagree with. So you said that you don't
It's
you don't like
okay, you
Donald
can
Trump.
disagree with
So it's very clear you voted for Kamala. Why did you vote for Kamala?
Honestly, if you want to go grab a glass of wine with your girlfriend sometime,
See,
we can all make
here's the
sure
thing.
that it's all
Why
kosher
can
and talk
leftists-
about it.
No.
Don't worry.
No.
I don't
find it interesting.
honestly-
Hold on. Stop. Every single time I ask a liberal, who did you vote for? They're scared to say they voted for Kamala, or if they do, I ask them why. They can't articulate why.
Because there's no valid points on why you should vote for her. That's why.
Ultimately, I'm not
Absolutely
afraid
not.
of swimming with sharks. I hope I made that clear.
Okay.
No one's a shark here. I'm just. My thing is like
for that ever
We can
happens.
swim all day.
You're clearly a liberal, right?
All day.
And now things are starting to make sense.
You're
where
actually putting me in a box. You are putting
absolutely
me in a
a leftist.
box.
You are
Do you
absolutely
want
a
to be
leftist.
put in a box? Is that why you made this podcast? So you can be put in a box? No.
I'm gonna be honest, me as a female, the only reason why I would have voted for Kamala Harris is because of abortion laws. But if we're being technical,
Just
all
stop
of
for
that
2
started
seconds.
help-
Just
all of that
stop.
started
Hey,
helping with
be
that.
quiet.
Crazy.
Look, it's not about being in a box. It's about having belief systems that typically tend to align. So people on the right tend to be more pro-gun, more pro-life, more pro-religion, more small government, etc. Two genders, all this type of thing. But people on the left tend to have certain talking points. So as soon as you said, we can agree to disagree, and I said, well, this is an objective fact. There is no, if you disagree with a fact, then that's
According to the data that's available right now at this time with the limited scope of the LGBTQ community, if you want to talk about the oppression and marginalization of women and how that has created internalized rage, which is what you just saw,
homosexuals and
internalized
gays,
rage,
gays and
that's one
lesbians,
thing.
gays and lesbians have been able to get married in the United States for the better part of over a decade under the Obama administration. So we have a plethora of data on same-sex
There's
relationships.
actually a lot of people that don't talk about it because they're afraid of how people are going to talk to them, judge them, or that their parents are going to say, oh, you better watch how you talk, how you walk, how you
What
dress,
does that have
how
to
you
do with
look.
domestic
Because
violence
if
stats?
you-
I'm talking
it
about
has
domestic
so much
violence
to
strictly.
do
I'm
with
talking
it.
domestic violence
Has so much-
strictly
It has to
with
do with
lesbians.
trauma.
I'm talking about
trauma. It
What?
has to do with trauma.
No,
That's what it
okay.
has to do with it.
You can talk about the
Domestic
why.
violence has to do with
Cool,
trauma.
cool.
Yes.
You're saying the why. I'm talking about what is. The what is that lesbian couples have the highest rates of domestic violence. That's
Okay,
a fact.
that's
There
a
is
fact
no I
according to
disagree.
you.
We can agree to disagree. No. It's a
I just
fact.
want the data points. That's all. I want to see the information. I hear you. I heard
Chris,
you
can you
wrote
pull
the
this
book.
up, bro?
I heard you wrote the book, and I'm interested in learning more and understanding it. I truly am. You know?
So here we have it here on the
Okay,
screen.
great.
Lifetime prevalence of IPV in LGBT couples appear to be similar to or higher than in heterosexual ones.
Right.
61% of bisexual women,
Bisexual.
43% of lesbian women, 37% of bisexual men, and 26% of homosexual men experience IPV during their life, while 5% of heterosexual women and 29% of heterosexual men experience IPV, which is basically
Mad confusing.
violence.
Okay. All right.
In-person violence.
So mostly bisexual women.
Yes. But also lesbians.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, well, it's 61% bisexual, you know.
Well, Chris, you might have to do like DV. I don't know where you got this IPV from.
It's
Anyway,
in-person violence, but well, we want DV though.
Because I meant, domestic violence. Because in-person violence can literally be at a club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that could just be them fighting at a club. I'm talking about like in a domestic situation where they cohabitate. Oh, it's intimate partner violence?
Which is domestic violence,
Oh, same shit.
just reworded.
all right.
Okay. But there you go. So, I mean, look, and facts are facts, man. And this is something that I've noticed with liberals. Like, you guys don't like facts. You guys tend to be like, how do we feel about this? And, let's be all, woosah and emotions. And it's like, I don't know.
I got nothing but love for you, brother. It's all good.
Yeah, that's fine. No, it's fine. I'm not mad. I'm just saying, like, it's always interesting to talk to women and leftists about this because you guys don't really operate on facts. You guys operate on how you feel. Like, you know, Democrats market more on like, oh, there's a disparity and we're being held down by the man. Even the term patriarchy, I think, is hilarious whenever women use it or leftists, because it's like every society that's thrived has been under a patriarchy. It's just how we
Not
operate
every
as humans.
society, the tantric society, has not operated under a patriarchy. That is incorrect information. Incorrect.
Name one successful civilization that still exists today that was a matriarchy.
Honestly, I feel complete with the subject. I think we can move on.
Exactly. That's my
Let's
point.
just move on.
That's my
It's all
point.
good.
You're wrong. Like,
We can move
you're
on.
wrong.
It's all
Like, that's
good.
just what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you literally can't name one because it doesn't exist.
Sure.
Women.
That's right.
Women do
You're
not
right.
make
You're absolutely
good leaders.
right. And this is what
This
it's
is
like
about-
to be a woman, right? You're right. We can just move on. You're right. It's okay. Yeah. What you have to say is
I mean,
valid
why
and
you get emotional
accurate.
though right now?
Absolutely. Women need to be emotional, right? That's why we need more, like, less passport bros, right?
I mean,
so that
you
women can be
Well, that's an
women.
inherent flaw that
Right,
you're so
so
emotional
I-
because when facts are being stated, you dislike it and your emotional
No,
reaction.
It's not emotional.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's
talking-
having conscious choice.
No, you're talking over them, and you're saying you're right. Yeah, whatever.
Could you imagine if I told you, hold on, if I told you, right, the sky is blue.
Sorry, I don't talk kids.
Wait, what?
No, she acts like a 13-year-old right now, all emotional and stuff. So yeah.
Totally emotional.
Well, fact is a fact. Whether you like it or not, it's just a fact.
No, it's
But it may not be what you want to hear, so I get it.
Wait, just
You know?
Yeah, I mean, look, this goes back to what I was saying. Women should never be in positions of power or be leaders because
That's interesting.
it doesn't work.
I disagree.
Can you tell me one successful matriarchy then?
Mireya Moscoso, la presidenta de Panama. First Panamanian president. Woman. Mireya Moscoso.
And Panama's a shithole.
No, it's not.
It's an absolute shithole.
What?
Yes.
Have you been?
Yes.
Still
When?
masculine
Yes.
When
I
dominant.
actually
have you been?
actually went there for a terrorism investigation.
Did you really?
Yes.
Yeah? And
Yes.
what part of it is more of a shithole than the Donald Trump campaign? Tell me.
And the other thing too is that Panama is still
Tell me,
a very
what more of it is more of a
It's still
shithole
a
than
very-
the Donald Trump campaign? Tell me.
Okay, what do you not like about Donald Trump?
So many.
You clearly have a hard on for this
I
guy.
do
What's your
love
issue with him?
that he is pro sex workers.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I do love that.
So that's
I do
your
love that
okay.
he's pro sex
What do
workers.
you dislike then?
Pretty much everything else.
Can you
Like-
name 2 or 3 things that you dislike?
I don't
Bro.
like the way he communicates. I don't like the way
too
that
harsh.
he, stands for a whole nation in a way that is very diverse and wants to put everyone inside of a box and say that women are emotional and that men need to go out of the country to find women.
Trump
and
never
that
said
women
that.
do not need to be in position of power.
Trump never
and
said
those
that.
are the
That's
followers.
internet
Yeah, he never
you know?
said that.
Yeah,
Trump
so
never said
I'm-
any of these things.
I'm not a fan of that kind of culture, I guess I would like to say.
When did he say that?
Trump didn't say any of these things you mentioned.
Well, I don't know. He did say things like grab her by the pussy, right?
Bruh.
He did say
Bruh.
things
The
like,
context
you
was
know, like
nowhere.
after a show between boys just talking shit. It wasn't like,
that, but
oh my God.
that's part of the issue. That's part of the issue. Is like,
That's
when
what
are we
men talk.
going to respect pussy? Like, pussy is powerful and strong and delicious and amazing. That's why you're here, because of pussy.
I mean, don't you
Wait,
work?
Like, that's why we're all here.
I mean,
Hold on.
So
So I
she
can
makes money being a
respect it and still talk about it, right?
She makes money.
What are you talking about?
If I like pussy,
Yeah.
I can also talk about it, right?
Well, we can all talk about everything.
So he was
right?
with a close friend, just talking the shit and saying, "Hey, grab her by the pussy." Now,
No,
does it make it
absolutely not.
right?
No, it doesn't.
Maybe
It's
not, but he
okay.
just speaking his mind to
Not
a friend
okay.
behind closed doors.
This is the president of the United States of America.
But in context,
Like,
This was back
look
when
at
he
all of
was.
the
This is back when he ran a
accusations.
hit TV show, The Apprentice. This is like in the mid
Look at
2000s.
all of the criminal investigations he's been found guilty for. You know what?
no, he
And-
hasn't.
No, he
And to be
No, he
honest,
hasn't.
I have to say,
No, he
like,
hasn't.
I do not. I'm not a fan
That's why
of
he's
the
our
punitive
president.
justice system. I'm not a fan of the prison systems, the way that they operate. And if a criminal can be president, then that means if you are locked up right now, you can get out and change your life.
Okay.
So
can you?
I want to add.
How's
to
he a
that
criminal? Can you tell me how he's a
Okay.
criminal?
in many different.
How is he a
ways.
criminal?
Just one.
With the ballots and how he interjected and how he made it seem, and also on the 6th of January, how he literally propagandized for people to storm
No.
the Capitol.
No.
And that's what they did.
He didn't say that.
No.
He said, you can watch the videos. He
No.
said,
What did he
do it
say?
peacefully.
He said
Thank you.
Exercise your rights
Right, but is his
peacefully.
energy peaceful? Is anything
Durag
about
Myron,
Donald
tip
Trump
$35.
peaceful?
I'm not
No,
going to
it's
lie,
not.
you and all these radical leftists sound just as obnoxious and annoying as Selena and her friend.
But you know what?
LMAO
I can go.
Caladita
I
Chevi
don't need to
Mas
be here.
Benita.
I'm straight.
What does that mean?
So
Spanish?
like, it's all good.
Look, you're free to get up and leave at any point, but what I am going to tell you is that you're wrong about almost everything that you mentioned. Absolutely wrong.
I hear you.
He
and
tweeted out and said,
I hear you.
protest peacefully. He didn't, advocate for any type of violence. The other talking points that you have aren't even points that he's made. You're referring back to when he was in a tour bus talking with another actor about being a celebrity and having a hit show, saying grab her by the pussy. Everyone has had locker room talk like that. Kamala Harris, I'm sure, said a bunch of ridiculous things in the past
Yeah,
as well.
I heard her.
She went ahead and showed up with Montel Williams as like a third, second girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can play that game as well if you're going to talk about like, oh yeah, well, this is sexual degeneracy, whatever. And then the other thing you mentioned, he's a criminal. That case that you just mentioned was dismissed literally a couple days ago.
Yeah.
The January 6th one, federally. The document case
Well,
had no
he's
basis.
Now
Got dismissed.
in power and on his way to being the president, and I'm most looking forward
He's already
to
the
what's going
president.
to
And,
happen.
and
No,
the New
he's
York
not
case was
president
bullshit.
yet.
It went to the appellate courts and they're like,
But
why did you guys bring this case?
Next year he will be, and then I look forward
So
to
you're wrong.
4
He's not a
years
criminal
from
then.
now, and he's not anymore.
He's
but
not a
that's
criminal.
okay. That's not the point. The
You
point
made that allegation.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I did make that. Thank you for giving me the accurate information.
Okay.
So you're
Right?
wrong.
I appreciate that.
So you
I
were
can be
wrong.
wrong. I can be wrong. Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Wrong.
and the
Credibility.
yeah,
Wrong.
like,
Yeah. Thank you for letting me know the correct information. And I will continue to do research, and I'll get back to you later. Thank you.
there's nothing to research. He's not a criminal.
No, of course not.
Like,
No, he's not a criminal.
Could you imagine if I don't like you and you were falsely accused of being a criminal and I just said to everyone, you're a criminal? How would you feel?
You don't like me?
Imagine if I didn't like you
Uh-huh.
and you were falsely accused of being a criminal.
Falsely accused of being a
Yeah.
criminal.
How would you feel?
Well, I believe that when I hold positions of power, then I need to lead with honor, integrity, accountability, justice in a way that is kind, compassionate, and empathetic.
But you didn't do anything.
Pardon?
You didn't do anything.
That happens all of the time
No, but
to a lot of different
I'm
people
telling
all
everyone
over
that
the
you're a
world.
criminal though.
It happened to Mahatma. It
No,
happened
he's
to
saying, how would you feel
How would
if
you
he
feel
did
if that
that
was
to
you?
you? Yeah.
how would I personally
Yeah,
feel?
you did it to Trump.
So you think that what I'm saying about Donald Trump is completely inaccurate and false?
Yes, we
in
just
a
proved
way.
it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but that was just one thing.
You said
said
multiple
One
things.
thing.
all right, so look, this is going to be maybe controversial for some of the people here, but this is why I think we need to repeal the 19th Amendment and women shouldn't have the right to vote.
Oh, no.
Because hold on, stop. I'm gonna go somewhere with this. She went ahead and just made a bunch of allegations that aren't true, and that actually factored into how she voted.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, right? That factored into what you when you went to the poll and you voted for whoever you voted for. You don't want to tell us. Probably Kamala Harris, or maybe you wrote someone else in. I don't know, but this was in your head. Donald Trump's a criminal, so therefore I'm going to vote this way. That was faulty information. That isn't true. Now, with that said, the other thing too that I don't think women should vote. You guys don't have to join selective service and have skin in the game when it comes to the military. The president is the commander in chief of the military and the U.S. Armed Forces. So I look at it like, if you don't have skin in the game in the military and you don't get sent to war, you shouldn't have a say in who we pick as a leader. And the other thing too is that if we rely exclusively on female votes, almost all the time they vote Democrat. Matter of fact, they went ahead and looked at it. If men didn't vote in this last election, Kamala Harris would be the president-elect right now as we speak. So look, I know you're like, that's not true, that's fucked up. Unfortunately, a majority of women vote Democrat. They vote for socialists. They vote for leftists. They vote for people that are more communitarian because that's female nature.
You know, I have
It's
to
not even
say that
that
when
shown.
I got into this conversation, I realized that I needed to have more understanding of the political realm in order to have this conversation with you. At the end of the day, I have nothing against you, and I understand that I was wrong for making a statement about Donald Trump with the information that I had at the time. But I disagree that of what you just said, and I really think it's disrespectful.
To repeal the 19th Amendment?
It dishonors us. And so I do hear you, and that this is your show and your vibe and all the things. and
Well-
I'm humbly going to exit.
Okay,
So
hold on.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Have
that's
a good
fine.
night.
That's fine. But I made a very logically sound argument as to why.
You did. You're right.
No, you did.
Like,
You
see,
did.
and this is, guys, what you're observing right now, this always happens when I debate liberals. They don't actually have anything to say. It's just feelings and mushy and gush, make a bunch of wrong claims, get proven that they're wrong, and then, oh, I'm just going to walk out because you hurt my feelings.
I just
She's
never
wrong.
seen it live.
Yo, chat.
100% wrong about so many different things.
Chat, you know what I'm about
Rage
to say?
quit, man.
Chat, you know what I'm about to say?
I just want to know where she got her information from.
Y'all want to know what I'm about to say right now?
Talk to me, Fresh.
For the one time.
Talk to me.
She left.
no way.
She was a great speaker,
Great speaker.
a
yeah.
nice, eloquent speaker, soothing to
Facts.
hear, but she got no ass. God damn, nigga.
God damn.
Dude, I've literally talked to hundreds of women like her
Fresh,
that
no,
are
you
like
didn't.
raging
Bro,
liberals.
Damn, man.
You know,
Went for the ass.
She came out with bad vibes, man.
no, like here's the thing, right? And this is why, like, I know some of you guys are like, "Yo, Myron, why you gotta keep your foot on her neck?" The reason why is because when you talk to people that are liberals like this, right?
No, Derek.
What they'll do is they'll try to disqualify your argument by saying, "Well, that's just your perspective." No, that is the fucking perspective. You're not going to disqualify what I said and try to make it as if it's an opinion and water it down. The truth is the truth. And this is the problem, is that they don't debate in reality. They debate in how they feel, etc. She made a bunch of bullshit accusations about Trump. Oh, he's a criminal, blah, blah, blah. That's not true.